how's your experience so far with the learning? I've shared some templates and documentations with you, including your roadmap. Please go through them. It's just as easy as filling it in as to whether you've gone through the slides or mock questions, for example, or whether you've done mock test, which we will come to later in like a real-time testing environment. How are you finding it so far, Marina?
Sorry, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. How you finding
Okay.
it so
So
far?
thank you so much. It was pretty clear. I like it. I like the
Good.
question and answers that we went through, and
So
now it's very clear for me.
I'll be running through. We'll be doing many questions together in each and every module, which will give you a real time understanding of what an actual question looks like. And as you would go through it, your confidence will improve towards choosing the best answer or the best two answers, and then choosing the right ones out of two. Remember, PMI does not have a hard and fast rule in the PMP exam about a correct answer. There could be more than one correct answer, but
Mm.
nobody's sure about how the algorithm works. You could have chosen an answer which could be right, and then there could be, if you clicked another answer, the system decides to also give you the market as correct. So this ambiguity, this is always a plus as well. Okay, so good. I'm glad you're liking the questions, but the ones we've done so far, they're very simple. They're not the advanced level uh, from any perspective. Okay, so expert
Mhm.
judgment. You have an understanding of what an expert judgment looks like in a project. People with experience, previous project managements, previous project managers who might have left the project, they've left the feedback in this document is called LLR. We've discussed it
Mhm.
earlier
Yeah.
a few minutes ago. Lesson learned register is the project document that's used to record knowledge gained. It's also called project retrospective or a sprint retrospective in Agile, where you do deliver in different chunks and different sprints, and then you do some work, you stop, you look back, you learn from it, you do your retrospective, and then move to the next chunk of the project. Okay, but we're doing predictive and
Mhm.
waterfall style at the moment. Mind
Mhm.
you, the agile component of PMP is going to be very intensive. PMP exam is leaning more from being waterfall more towards agile. So it's floating around 60 to 70% mark at the moment. And the it could be 90% agile based in the
Mhm.
coming years, but right now it's just floating in the middle. They want to keep it hybrid because a lot of the project managers who've done work in project management industry, they've been running projects for 40 years and they've done everything waterfall styles. It's hard for them to adapt to the newer style. Although Agile
Agile.
is 20 years old, 21 years old, but then once we go through it, I'll run you through it. So LLR, all right. So and lesson learned, and then the graveyard is called lesson learned repository, where each and every lesson learned document goes in, and repository could have thousands of lesson learned registers from different projects. Or the repository is
Mhm.
like an archive. Yes, this is just an effective communication, typical stuff, Tyler, determine the communication needs as well. So moving on to teams, virtual teams.
Mhm.
As we know, after COVID, we've all run projects and programs in virtual team environment for obvious reasons, where travel wasn't as easy, lockdowns and company policies, government regulations. So the importance of virtual teams have become very important after COVID. Um, we most of us are doing 1 2 days working from home. In my case, I'm doing 3 to 4 days working from home, but it really depends on your work agreement and the situation and the kind of work you do. So virtual
Mm-hmm.
teams, team members share goals, but spend little but no time meeting face to face, right? So there's a technique called fishbowl technique. Have you ever seen like a glass bowl with like a goldfish, right? There was a fishbowl technique, and they recently started implementing it as they've actually introduced a software that's embedded in the background. There could be thousands of team members. They're just watching each other working. And if anyone's got a question, you can raise a hand. Marina is sitting on the other side of the globe. I'm here. I could have project team sitting in Australia or New Zealand or Asia, for example. We're constantly in touch throughout the working hours. And then some people didn't like it because some team members weren't very comfortable with people watching them do work all the time. Remember the example I gave you in the last session? If someone's watching over your shoulder, you don't feel comfortable. If you're confident
Mm.
about your knowledge and the work you do, and someone's watching over the shoulder, you won't be comfortable. Why are you standing here? And if you don't know what you do, and someone's guiding you from the back and say, "Hey, do this and do this way," and this is a blessing in disguise, right? So it really depends on competence level and your skill level as to what kind of a support you need. But coming back to my point about virtual teams, basically, virtual teams are very T-shaped skills. Do you know the difference between T-shaped and I-shaped skill in projects? T-shaped skill,
No.
they are diversified, people with diversified skill levels. Remember, I gave you the example of a programmer who also knows the development and someone who also knows the testing as well, where I-shaped skill is a single skill specialized, like a heart surgeon, for example, in a medical field. A heart surgeon
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't know how to do a brain surgery, right? That's
Yeah.
I-shaped skill. But a heart
Mm-hmm.
surgeon who also knows how to do a nose surgery or brain surgery, that's T-shaped, right? So you can
Mm-hmm.
actually place them in any project, whether it's a programming project or a testing environment as well. So T-shaped. Most people, when they do look for people virtually, they look for people with T-shaped skills. Why? Because these people can adjust to any task within the project. You could
Mm-hmm.
you can and this is a little metrics on how you find the skills, right? So when you are these are in blue circle, there's some benefits about virtual teams, right? So it avoids the relocation expensive. Bonding may be difficult because you're far away. Bonding when you're working co-located or within the same office, it's very important, and it's typical stuff you would know from day-to-day work that you do. Then trial communication technology at the bottom, which is that fishbowl technique I told you about. And
Mm-hmm.
some people are trialing that as well. Calendar management, Kanban boards, virtual Kanban boards. I told you about Kanban boards as well. This is the Japanese style of a board where each and every team or team member that pick up the task they specialize on and they start working on it. All right. And
Mm-hmm.
then there's digital Kanban boards as well that's used by multiple virtual teams that are working from different time zones into different countries. And information radiators. Have you ever seen the big yellow signs in your lobby, in your office? Hey, today is the team communication day, or today is the team women day, for example. Team
Yeah.
celebration milestone day. Have you seen the big information radiators, big signs in the office or
Mm-hmm.
any office, for example? They call
Yes,
the
yes.
information radiators. Very old
Mm-hmm.
school on big yellow, bright orange, yellow, green charts, information radiators, they call it. So keep that in mind. So, virtual team member needs. Right? So the facilitation, ensure collaboration is a priority, basic needs, shared goals, clear purpose, clarity and roles and expectations. Very important. You don't need, you have to have ground rules. Very important with virtual teams. Otherwise, there'll be people from different cultural or work or specialty backgrounds that will be fighting with each other. So you have to have ground rules. You have to have those documents signed up with each and every virtual team member, right? Again, the
Mm-hmm.
same thing, dynamics, transparency, accountability, blah, blah, blah. Collaboration, very important. You've got shared task boards like SharePoint, for example, or some CRM boards, messaging chats as well. Most teams have these messengers. They could be external. Microsoft Teams, they've actually solved everything. They have Microsoft Teams. Have you used Microsoft Teams as well at work or personally?
Yes, yes,
Yes.
we
So if
do.
you use the
We do in
Pro
Microsoft Teams.
version, they have Kanban boards in them. They have messaging and sharing. They have video calling functionality. They have knowledge repositories with documents access to drives and everything. Video conferencing, right? So one-stop shop, right? And this is why they ended
Mm-hmm.
up phasing out Skype and brought in Microsoft Teams. That's doing very well so far. You should look at the share price before the war. Okay, so team communication plan again. Team's communication plan, which is like a subdivision of project communication plan. Team meeting minutes, tools to fast track meeting minutes, shared team hours, preferred communication approaches. This is just typical stuff. I'm going to quickly skim through it. Calendar tools again. There could be manual calendars on a board. There could be digital calendars, like they do offer in most of these software we use at work. I think Zoom's got one of the inbuilt calendars as well. Various analysis. What do you think of it?
Mm.
It's just actual versus targets. So you have
Mhm.
to, yeah, so you have to measure how the team is performing, the team's
At the
KPIs or
moment.
goals against what you've actually target. So once we do the formulas, we'll look at cost variances and schedule variances and SPVs and budgeting as well. There's a component in PMP with formulas. It's not a huge one like PGMP, but it or ACP, but it carries a significant amount. So this is where we'll learn. But just for your basic understanding, a various analysis is a piece of work or analysis, for example, to measure how much work has been achieved against what's targeted, Marina.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have
Clear.
any,
Okay.
do you have any questions so far?
So far, no, it's okay. Let's continue, and then I have.
All right. Okay, good. No worries. So, virtual teams best practices again. Um, just keep an eye on a price. Focus on shared
Mm-hmm.
commitments. All right, not important. So, this is a question again to get just to gauge your understanding. You're working on, so it's okay. So, how I like to solve questions, and I like my project management students to solve a question. Always read the last line first.
Mm-hmm.
All right. That's going to save you half the time. If you start reading,
So,
it could be a question with 10 lines. Just jump to what they're asking for and then look for that information in the body of the question. This is a two-liner or one-liner, but there could be questions with 7 or 8 lines, and 40
mm-hmm.
seconds not enough, right? So I will read the last line first, okay?
Yep.
How will you make sure they understand each other? You're working on a global project. Every team member speaks different language. Common language, have a translator, ask the sponsor. Big no. Sponsor does not need to know what's happening in your teams. They have big dashboard. They just want to know whether the project's feasible or not. Are we on track? Or update the communication management plan.
Have a common language.
No,
English.
no. You can't. You could have virtual teams with speaking 10 different languages. People speaking Hindi, Punjabi, Gujarati, Spanish.
Yeah, but English should be the official language or not?
Can't. But then what if someone's actually specializes in programming and then can only speak Spanish? And this is the only guy you can get in your budget. What would you do? Teach him English first? No.
You have a translator.
No, translator. No. And this softwares who can do the translation job nowadays. You
With
know how many
artificial
languages
intelligence.
project management plan, management exam, PMP exam comes in?
No.
21 different languages.
Wow.
Not all of them have to speak English.
Okay.
Yeah. So to me,
Updating
it's
the
update
communication plan.
communication management plan. And if you don't all speak the same language, does not matter. The system will translate that for you. Google Translate does it.
Mm.
So you don't have to know the same language to be a part of one project team. Yes, it's
Wow.
convenient, it's handy, right, to know the same language, but now you could be located in different parts of the world, like what happened in COVID. There could be Qantas aircraft getting fixed in Hong Kong, and there's engineers sitting in Australia or America, for example.
Mm.
And then a lot of people in America, they speak Spanish and Spanish only. But it doesn't mean they
That's not
don't
my
have the right
experience
skill set.
so far. So
Yeah,
far, English, for example, we're speaking German also in the office,
exactly.
but English is always our official language.
Yeah, I know.
At least
I know.
everybody has to understand English.
Yeah, no, but if you go to Canada, for example, if you go to Montreal, tell me how many
Mm.
people who speak English? They all speak French.
Mm.
Yeah, so that's the thing. So I want you to read this question for me, if you can.
What will you do?
The one on my
Your team
screen at the moment.
members?
Yeah, last line
Yes.
first. Yeah, go on.
I started with the last line. With a question? What
Yes,
will you do? Choose
yes.
two. Your team members have never used Zoom in their life due to COVID. Now everything will be online. What will you do? Provide them training on Zoom, check the stakeholder plan, check communication plan, or update issue log. Two of them.
But what will you do first? First, you'll be doing things
Uh,
in order, yeah? What will you do first and then second?
if I'm allowed to provide them training or on Zoom, no, that's taking too much time, right?
Um, update the issue
Check
log.
the
A project issue
Sorry.
log. Yeah, issue log. When we come to risk, I'll tell you the difference between an issue and a risk.
Mm,
Okay, issue is
mm,
something that has not happened yet. If something that's been raised, you put that in a project issue log, right?
mm-hmm,
Training issue with team, two-liner in the issue log. First thing, we'll update the issue log.
mm-hmm,
Second, check the communication management plan, whether the issue has been addressed in a project communication plan or not.
mm-hmm,
The training will ultimately follow. If the training providing Zoom training has been added to the communication management plan, that will automatically happen. First,
okay.
you update the issue log, raise that as
Mm-hmm,
an issue, and then check and update the CMP.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's starting to get trickier
Okay,
now.
clear.
Starting to get trickier, but that's okay. Um, your project includes virtual team members, right?
Mm-hmm,
Co-location is not possible. That means there could be people, and it's not easy to co-locate them under one roof or under one. Co-location is something that's done. that all the teams are placed within the same office, in the same building, not in the same city, in the same building,
Mhm.
right? Which
Mhm.
measure is most likely to help team members act as one and remove communication impediments? Impediments or roadblocks, same thing.
Mhm.
A, technical training for all team members. B, arranging daily phone conferences and detailed reporting. C, establish remote pairing using video conferencing tools to allow face-to-face meeting options. D, create a fishbowl window. I told you about the fishbowl window, yeah? That all the team members are
Mhm.
watching each other all the time working through an ongoing video conferencing feed between various locations. Again, privacy laws, fishbowl,
Mm.
unless you get everyone to sign a contract and agree to it, there could be legal complications.
Mm.
So fishbowl not feasible.
Mm. The second and the third,
No, C is the right answer, I think.
but two. Choose two of them.
No, but see, face to face is more, remember, more effective than a phone conference. Remember?
Mhm.
If you
Yes.
have to choose between a face to face and phone, choose face to face. If you have to choose
Yes.
between a phone
It's
and
the.
an email, choose phone.
Yeah.
Are you
Yeah.
with me?
Definitely.
So C is the
Yes.
right answer. Does it make sense?
Yes.
See, you're picking up. All right, I'll let you do this one. So we'll be doing a lot of questions together, and we're coming very close to the slides. I think we've got about 7 or 8 left. So I'll let you do this one. Go on, Marina.
Which of the following becomes increasingly important in a virtual team environment? Requirements engineering, communication planning, formal procurement closure, or networking diagramming? Communication planning, virtual team
Exactly.
environment,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
Communication planning.
Formal procurement closure is something else, which is finalizing a contract. So formal
Mm-hmm.
procurement closure that you've done, you've received all the supplies from the suppliers and you've paid them, you've cleared their invoices, everything is settled, there's no issues with quality or standards of material, procurement's closed. No more
Mm-hmm.
purchasing. Network diagramming is another technique, but then again, we don't do it in virtual. Requirements
Mm-hmm.
engineering is a totally different domain. It has nothing to do with virtual teams. So communication planning
Virtual.
is the right answer.
Mm-hmm.
This is a little mind map. We'll be doing Miro, by the way, as I mentioned in the last session, which will make something like that. So I'll let you brainstorm. Remember, I've sent you a mind map, a big A3 mind map for each and every module.
Yes.
Yeah, so we'll be doing this. Don't get overloaded in information. This is just for reference, but um, communication management planning, execution monitoring, like any project, yeah? Initiation and
Yes.
planning, monitoring, execution,
Execute.
monitoring,
Mm-hmm.
controlling, closure, right? Planning,
Yes.
plan communications, executing, manage communication. Remember the first question before that? Manage means
Mm-hmm.
execution. Remember?
Mm-hmm. Here it
See,
is. Yeah.
we're
Carrying out.
creating relevance now as to what we learned before into this. Monitoring and controlling. Monitor communication. That's the formal process. This is the name of the process in the project, right? In planning,
Mm-hmm.
we do define meeting types, owners, modes, reporting formats, right? Reporting formats as templates, OPAs, escalation planning, defining the escalation letters just in case things go wrong, execution, meeting people, sending progress reports. Remember that P&I, sending what to who, 4 hours, right? Conducting
Yes.
meetings, right? And then monitoring and control. You got plan versus virtual versus actual. Remember that variance analysis, right? And then taking actions, taking measures as to as to monitor the communication. Does it make sense now? This is the
Yes.
example of the information radiators. Big, yellow, bright, red writings, a big board. This is one example of information radiator. College boards, if you remember, back in uni or school, He has used to have big boards with notices sticking to it. That's an information radiator. Most offices nowadays. I went to Japan years and years ago to train a warehousing team. They have information radiators in each and every corner, even at the entry of the bathroom as well. A most visible place
Mm-hmm.
with most amount of traffic of people. See,
Mm-hmm.
easy to see, engaging. Could be hallways, team board, team, team meeting rooms entrance, hallways, common lunch areas, for example. Information radiators. They get changed and updated often.
Mm-hmm.
They got some room to collaborate. People have collaborate and discuss, so let them stand. Information that hits you as you pass by. Those entry and exit signs at buildings, those green ones, fire stairs, exit, entry. Remember those green signs, Marina? Most offices have it.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
the information radiators. They're just telling you where to go in case of emergency. See, fire
Mm.
stairs, entry, all those things. Or a shopping mall, they have information radiators everywhere. Remember 4 hours we discussed? Yeah,
Yes. Right time, right format, right impact, and right audience.
absolutely brilliant. Um, Importance of communication management plan. Right, define difference between work performance data and work performance. Yeah, this is just yeah. So this is a quick mind map about this. Defines seven. This is like a cheat sheet. I've sent you one in Excel as well, but this is also handy to have. Right. So everything about communication
Mm-hmm.
management plan, you can actually read it in this slide. There's something called ITTOs: inputs, tools and techniques, and outputs. Right? Inputs. A project
Mm-hmm.
charter is an input. Right? Uh, Project management plan input, project documents, OPS input, enterprise environmental factors, benchmarking, other environmental factors, management hierarchy, influence of stakeholders, OPAs, documents and templates. I told you about OPAs, organization process inputs, right? Tools and techniques for those:
Mm-hmm.
expert judgment, communication requirements analysis, communication technology, models, methods, team skills. This is all execution, and that's the output. So ITTOs. Output, we have the final product, the communication management plan, as a part of this, right? Project management plan updates. Remember, all the communication management plan or stakeholder management plans, change management plan, all the 17 management plans, they come under the umbrella of project management plan. The project management plan is a big
Mm-hmm.
document. All the small plans come underneath it. Take it like a big tree with fruits hanging off it. So that's the
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So that's the analogy with this. So outputs, you've got project documents updates, you've got a project schedule and stakeholder register, which I will discuss. We'll be doing stakeholders in the next section, right? So 7 C's
Mm-hmm.
of communication. We read about it: complete, clarity, complete, clear, concise. All right. There are a couple of questions, and we have time. There are about 5 questions. You ready to do this? Remember, these questions are heart and soul of your exam, because this is how you'll get the exam, and you have to be so confident with your questions that you read it and you have 30 seconds. You'll go, okay, this is the right answer.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So this is a simple one, right? Um, I call this descriptive questions. So the difference between push and pull communication can be described as. Do you know? Did I run you through push and pull communication?
No.
Okay. Push communication
But let's say,
is, yeah, push communication is where you push communication towards your audience or stakeholders, right? You're sending newsletters,
mm-hmm,
you're sending
mm-hmm,
emails in your mailbox, you're sending, you talk to Google about something, and next thing you know, you're getting all those marketing push communication. That's a push
mm-hmm,
communication, right? Pull communication, you go to SharePoint and you download a project management plan file. It's pull communication. You're pulling that information there. That's the difference between you go to a CRM and you download, generate a report about your quarterly sales. That's your pulling of communication. That's the difference between push and pull, right? Push communication requires feedback from the participants. Pull communication requires more effort on part of the receiver. Push
no.
communication is best suited for telephone or in-person messages. No, B is not correct. Push communication requires confirmation of receipt. Pull communication requires a receive to send request to sender for information.
D.
D is the right answer. Push communication is sent to who we think it needs to know. Remember, I gave you
Mm-hmm,
example about Google, right?
mm-hmm,
And you talk about a product, and next thing you know, it generates a lead in the system. And you start getting advertisements. So, you could be a customer who's not interested in, for example, computers. You interested in cameras, right? You talk about cameras. So sending computer
mm-hmm,
information or sales information to you is useless because you're someone who's passionate about cameras, not computers, right? So sending the right
mm-hmm.
information to the right person. So D is the right answer. Full communication, again, that requires the participants to access the information on their own discretion. So it's
Okay.
you who can decide whether you want to download or not. Yes?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So I'll let you do this one. What is the impacts of noise on communication? Noise, remember, is a barrier, as the name suggests. The noise
Mm-hmm.
does not have to be like the actual noise. Noise could be information lost from one channel to the other. I'll tell you about, I'm not sure if you saw my YouTube video, but I've described to one of the students, I've described the concept about Chinese whispers. That's also a project management term. That's a noise. You have 10 people sitting in a line, you say something to the first one, and by the time the information passes to 10th person, it's a totally different version. It happens
Mm.
in projects as well. So,
What is the impact of the noise?
hmm,
D. Interferes with the understanding of the message.
exactly. Very simple. All right. Thinking of communication planning for a global project with resources in different continents, which I should be reading the last line first. Which of the following is an example that best represents an assumption? So let's highlight the words here. Communication planning,
Mm-hmm.
global project, resources in different continents. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Team members are acquired in various geographical locations. Entire team is fluent in English. B, I'll cross B. All resources are technically competent. I'll cross C. Costs in all countries are within the budget. I'll cross D. Global project, resources in different continents. Team members are required in various geographical locations. Different continents
Mm.
and different geography. Yeah?
Mm. Yeah.
Very simple. Last line first. Which one of the following is not a non-verbal consideration or technique?
Mm-hmm.
All right, which is not. Remember, focus on not. They could be tricky. All right,
Mm-hmm.
not a non-verbal. If you're not a non-verbal, that means you're a verbal technique. Remember?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What do you think out of these four without having to read the question?
B.
Exactly. Well done. Oh, you're
being
more brilliant than most of my other students. See, you don't have to read the question. Just focus on the keywords. Last line, focus on the keywords. If it's not a non-verbal, that means it's a verbal. And that's the tone
Mm,
of voice. B is the
yeah,
right
it's good. It was good point that you emphasize what is it about actually. Not
answer. Keywords.
non-verbal, you're right. Yeah,
Keywords. Yeah, keywords.
that's the most
Very important.
important.
Easy to get, mm, muddled in a tricky question. PMI wants you to be competent. That's why they give you all the tricky questions. But remember, you
Mm,
practice, that's the key. There's no shortcut.
mm,
No, there's no
yeah.
magic stick I can wave and then you'll know everything. No, practice, my friend. All right, last line first. Which one of the following best describes the most significant outputs of this process? Napoleon is performing the managed communication process. Which one of the following best describes the most significant outputs? A, performance reports, deliverable status, schedule progress. B, updates to communication. Remember that slide that summarized everything just back then? That has the answer. Updates to the issue log, project schedule, stakeholder register. So you're managing communication, right?
Carrying out,
Hmm?
executing the communication, right?
Hmm. Managing,
It's
executing.
that
Yes. I think it's C.
update the issue log, project schedule, and stakeholder register.
I reckon it's C. Let's go back very quickly to it. Outputs. Project document. Yeah, see? Project schedule, stakeholder register. Output,
Mm-hmm.
right? Coming back to the
Mm-hmm.
question. Outputs. Most significant
Output.
keyword is most
Mm-hmm.
significant output. Issue log, project schedule, stakeholder register. So
Mm-hmm.
that concludes our session for communication, but that's not the end of it. I think we've done well covering we had 70 slides in let's just say an hour and 15 minutes, which wasn't too bad. But thanks to you for being a good listener and being a good student. So do you have any questions since I have 2 minutes left?
I have many questions, but let's focus on maybe on the most important. What are the key elements that must be included in the effective project communication management plan according to
This is
the
the answer.
standard?
This is the answer to your slides. I've also sent you an Excel file. This is all
Okay.
a project communication plan in a nutshell in this slide. This is all key
Mm-hmm.
elements here. And since
Mm-hmm.
you've done, 4 hours, sending
Of
and
course.
coding, noise, types of communication, formal written, formal verbal,
Mm-hmm.
ITTOs, channels, 7Cs, sample
Mm-hmm.
communication management plan. That's what it is. Remember, we'll be doing
Okay.
when we
Thank you.
schedule. Let me know your availability. We'll be doing stakeholder, very important. And that's going to be twice as long as this one. So I'll be sharing the file with you, hopefully before I sleep tonight. And if you have any questions, just feel free to shoot them through.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you so much. Yes.
You're welcome. Hope it all made sense. And sorry we had a mix up on the meeting. It's been up and down with work, especially with the Australian time zone. So, like right now, I have to be awake for another 5 hours to attend my
Oh,
first 8:30 meeting. Yeah. So yeah, this has been a mess, but yeah, I'm just trying to sort it out. So, but yeah, there's been another attack on Dubai Airport today, by the way.
really? Today again?
Today
No.
again, yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's not
Oh
stopping
my God.
anytime soon. But yeah, so um, all the hopes
Mm.
and the
And
high
the
ticket
airport still
prices,
is
yeah. So
closed,
plans to
right?
fly have been cancelled.
Oh.
Yeah, So, in the interest of safety. All
Stay
right.
safe, take care.
Yeah. No, hopefully, but it's good that you're safe in that part of the